Texas, southern Jones County in west central Texas, northeastern Nolan County in west central Texas, southeastern Fisher County in west central Texas, northern Taylor County in west central Texas, southwestern Shackelford County in west central Texas. Until 1015 p.m. CDT. At 0932 p.m. CDT, a severe thunderstorm was located over Longworth, moving east at 25 miles per hour.
Let me look. Okay, I'm gonna get off at exit 330. There's a gas station right there in Cisco. I'm just gonna get off on 330. I may sit on the off ramp for a second or two, just to really pinpoint where the best place to intercept this is gonna be at. You said what exit?
Would it be Cisco?
What be Cisco?
The better intercept spot.
330, exit 330.
They do have a point. It'd be nice to actually be able to see stuff blowing around.
How far are we away? Oh, we're only 10 miles. Yeah, if we're only 10 miles, that's not a bad idea. You know?
Yeah. That is a excellent point.
Well, not the way we want to spend our Sunday evening, but good evening, everyone. Welcome in. Stormy night ahead, as you can see from the radar. Going to talk all about this. And before we really get into that, I want to say that, this is kind of the weather we get sometimes. And it's not a lot of fun, but it's not anything to be terribly concerned about. Definitely want to take it seriously, that's for sure. But nothing to get terribly worked up over. Just hopefully you've had a chance this afternoon to prepare, secure loose items outside. If you live in the Metroplex proper, anywhere south of the US 380, you still got time to do that. Not a whole lot of time, but I definitely, if you haven't done that, I would definitely do that. We're not really looking at the possibility of tornadoes now. They're not, out of the question. They'd be more of a spin up type, but hopefully we won't even see any of that. We have enough with the strong winds to deal with. Let me say hello to a few people. Andrew, thank you. Thunder Lightning kicking off where you are. Yes, you're up there closer to the action. Stay safe. Let me know if you have any really bad weather up your way. Janet, yes, healthy respect for storms. You were told to follow me for weather information. Okay, great. Well, I don't know who told you that, but I really appreciate that. I think what you'll find is that I don't sell the fear, as you say. Certainly not to get clicks or anything like that, but just try to be straight. When it's calls for attention, I'll definitely let you know that. When it calls for not to be too crazy about things, I'll tell you that too. I'm not going to tell you that there's a possibility of giant hail when there's really not. There's always a possibility, but in this case, there's not. You're welcome, Julian. Thank you so much. Love to keep y'all informed and updated, and let's just get right to it. So this current radar, as you can see, fairly intense line of storms. And I know this radar is a little messy, but you can see these colored boxes. These are the polygons for the severe thunderstorm warnings. And, I know it's probably a little hard to read on your end, but that's for Collin County, Hunt County, 70-mile-an-hour winds, not nickel-sized hail. So the hail, and by the way, hail is not really a big issue, although if you get 60, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts with hail, even if it's small, that's no fun either. Then we also have severe thunderstorm warning for Denton County. Same thing. That the hail was a little bit larger, inch in diameter, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Now again, that's radar indicated. We haven't seen any of that. Certainly from a hail standpoint, we haven't seen anything, on the ground truth. And it looks like we just got a tornado warning. And again, I know it's kind of messy for southern Grayson County. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully, I'm reading the warning here. Okay, radar indicated. All right, hopefully that's not going to amount to anything. You're welcome, Suzanne. Thank you. Sorry. Like I said, it's just one of those things that happens in the spring. Although you could argue it's summer, not meteorological. It is a meteorological summer. It's not, summer. It's real summer doesn't. Not real summer. Summer doesn't start till June 21st by some standards. But anyway. So I'm going to show you a different radar, and this really looks messy, but I promise I'll explain it. So this is the velocity signature on the Next Red radar out of Fort Worth, and this will be more important than the reflectivity, which is what you were seeing just a second ago. And let's zoom in here a little bit. Now again, I know this is pretty messy. I don't know how else to show this to you. It's just unfortunately it's just not very clear to read. But I will give you an idea. This is Sherman. This is that small tornado warning box. And by the way, if you live in Howe, Tom Beam, and you can see right here, there's this little spin up circulation. And so that's what they warned it for. So if you live up in that area, Andrew, take shelter. Don't take it seriously. But what we're watching for with these lines are the wind. We've talked about the wind, well, some people have, I should say, have talked about the wind the last couple of days, really. Kind of started thinking about this on Friday. And then today, you've heard a lot. You've heard wind gusts above 80 miles an hour, maybe even higher, some to 100. And yes, that is definitely a possibility. But like I always say, thankfully, not everybody's going to see that. I hope very few people see that. Now, we did have a severe thunderstorm warning. It's still in effect for Grayson County and part of Cook County, up near Collinsville. Andrew, you got the tornado warning. Yes, you were in that polygon. A little spin up. I say little, don't mean to diminish it. It's a spin up tornado right here. Well, right there. You can see. So whenever you get the bright colors right next to each other, red's going away from radar, green's going toward the radar, and you get this, we call this couplet. And that's where the tornado signature is. Doesn't mean it's on the ground, although I will say that's a pretty tight couplet. If we put our wind speeds on here, kind of zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't look like a whole lot there, but again, that's measured up in 6,000 feet from the radar site. But it is a couplet, so take it seriously. I don't know if this other velocity is going to show it any better. Let's see if it shows it better. Yeah, not really. But take it seriously. If we put this in motion, and again, I know this is a hard to read color palette, if you will, but it's moving pretty quick. So you can see there toward the last couple of scans. So it looks like it's going to go just north of Howe proper. Tom Beam's in the path, White Wrights. So if you know anybody in that area, please tell them definitely to take shelter with that tornado warning. All right, let's zoom back out. So this is the color palette that we're going to want to watch tonight, because where you see the brighter colors, whether they're red or green, in a blob, then that's what we got to watch out for. So. Mr. Phillips, hello. Lisa, hello. Watching on YouTube, thank you. Andrew, it might. Just like it definitely take shelter. It's going to be way too close for comfort for you, so it's definitely going to be close. So, yes, please take that seriously. I know you will. So, like I said, this color palette radar is what we're going to want to watch. because that's what's going to show us these wind speeds. And so like here, south northeast of Sanger, southeast of Valley View, it's getting a pretty bright signature there. So there's probably some strong winds, maybe 60 miles an hour there. Moving pretty quick to the southeast, about 50 miles an hour. So that's why it won't, if you put that time signature on there, 1034, if this wind signature, it's going to vary. So it's going to go pulse up and down. That's where it would be in the northeast Dallas, southern Collin County area around 1030. If it tracks like it says it's going to track, which it doesn't always do that. So that's what we're looking for. That is what I'm looking for, is that, it's the wind signatures is what we're going to look for. Hey, Angela, getting close to Denton County. I'll wave as I fly by. And don't be flying by here. Yeah, Angela's west of us, so she would definitely fly this way if she did. So hopefully not, though. Varghese, you're welcome from Wiley. Yes, not too far away. So that's the velocity signature that we're looking for on radar. Now, thankfully, let's zoom this out here a little bit. So thankfully, we're not seeing a whole lot. Now, we are seeing some way out here in West Texas. Yeah, I'm going to probably do that all night long. Well, not all night long. So we're seeing a brighter signature there, probably seeing a little signature there. And then if we go back to reflectivity, kind of get an idea where that is. There we go. And we'll expand this out. Yeah. So let's talk about the whole setup, because it's been interesting. And if you saw some of my video updates earlier, I kind of hinted at this. I didn't really actually hint at it. I talked about it. Let's see. Hey, Kara. You're welcome. Yeah, so leading edge comes through, big winds are done, but how bad are they behind the leading edge? That's a great question, Kara. So typically in these situations, yes, when the storm first moves through the leading edge, it's where you see the worst of the winds. Not always, but sometimes. And so once that passes, you could see pockets behind it, but it's definitely not as widespread typically as it is with the front part of the line. So that's a great question. So front leading edge of the line, yeah, pretty bad. Once you get past that first 5 to 10 minutes, usually maybe 15, it tends to die off, not always. So let's talk about this here. Actually, here we go. So we see this line. Now it's not, it's definitely a solid line from a range standpoint, but it's not a solid line from, especially like right here. So that's right now, that's actually good news, because it's not the solid line that we have been talking about, or they have been talking about, they being all the weather guys, talking about what they were thinking we would see. Now, again, it's still fairly early in this process, but it's, cross my fingers, right now it's not as bad as we thought. Now, that could change. That's why I came on. We just got a severe thunderstorm warning for Collin Denton County. This is warned for nickel-sized hail and 80-mile-an-hour winds. So your phones may go off. And mine hasn't got off yet. But actually, there we go. Actually, while we're doing that, I'm going to show you a slide here. That's actually an older watch. I didn't update that. Let's do this. Okay, so those of you in Collin County and Denton County, since they warned it for 80-mile-an-hour winds, that will typically activate your phone if you have the alert turned on. So you get you get it for tornado warnings, high-end flash flood warnings, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, which is 80-mile-an-hour winds or baseball-sized hail, 2 3/4 inch, if it's turned on. So if you're WEA, I think that's weather alert activation, I think. You'll see if not turned on, you won't get it. So if it's not turned on, make sure it's turned on. Okay, so let's get back to that. All right, so let's see. Let me see why they warned it that way. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Yeah, they definitely warned it for 80 miles an hour. Thankfully, I haven't seen any reports of that. Radar indicated, so that's good. Let's go back to, hey Rebecca, I just want rain, nothing crazy. Me too. I don't want anything crazy. I'm too old for crazy, I think. Okay, so let's zoom back in on this. Okay, so again, this map's kind of messy, but you see, yeah. So if you live in Denton and you live in those areas, they're gonna at Frisco, they're gonna activate their sirens. And matter of fact, I do have other duties, so I may have to pause it or mute it for a second. But yeah, so you're gonna hear sirens. Like I said, that's for 80-mile-an-hour winds. It's not a tornado, although it could be just as destructive as a tornado, but it's not a tornado. So it's probably for this green cluster right here, I would guess. And so again, this is just estimates. This is from the radar. So you may say, hey Jeff, I don't see any 80-mile-an-hour winds in here. Doesn't mean it's not on the ground. This is measured aloft. Although typically you'll see it higher aloft. So it just they're just being, and I'm not criticizing. They're just obviously going to be on the safe side. Aubrey's activated their sirens. Flower Mound's activated their sirens. So if you live there, then you're going to see. You're going to hear a lot of things. All right, let me just look here. What else we got? I'm just looking at spotter reports, and I haven't seen any ground truth yet, but not to say it's coming. All right, so let's put this in motion. If there's any good news out of all this, is that it won't last terribly long in the big scheme of things. It certainly won't be an all-night thing. We just got to get through it. That's the thing. All right, so this is in motion, and yeah. So a couple things. Definitely see this outflow boundary right here, which is not always a bad thing, but then. Yeah, you see, and remember, the radar is always a little bit behind, so you've seen these colors brighten up some, so I can see why they warned it for that. All right, so let's go back to reflectivity here. Where are we at? Oh, here we go. All right, so on radar, it doesn't look all that bad. And I'm not saying it's not. It's just that on radar, it's going to be definitely deceiving because I say radar. It's a reflectivity. So it doesn't measure wind. It just measures rain. Hello, Misty. Andrew, any advice about picking up dogs upwards to 100 pounds in safe places? No, I do not. Just don't hurt your back. But you're right. It looks like it's east of you now, so that's good. So I'm glad you're okay. Hey, Misty. Misty's way down south, so you're not in on the action until probably 3 a.m., but it won't be this bad for you down there. That's the thought anyway, so thank goodness for that. Plano's activated their sirens, so if you hear sirens, that's what it is. It's not for a tornado. It's for winds, straight line winds in excess, at least of the warning, 80 miles an hour. I have not seen... Again, it's going to take a little bit. I think the highest wind gust I've seen, which is up in Collin County, I think we had one 68. Now, again, I'm not saying that there wasn't higher, just looking at reported ones. Yeah, going to be... I haven't seen any yet. Let's put this in motion here. Hey, Mr. Freeman, what about Denton? Well, Denton's about to get hit. Let's zoom in on Denton here while we're thinking about it. Let's see. Yeah, so Denton's right there. Put this in motion. Now, again, this is reflectivity. It's not the velocity, which we'll go to in a second. But you can kind of get an idea of how this is moving. And let's put this on here. So in general, it's moving like this. Now, typically what happens is, these develop cold pools and they tend to sink more this way over time. Now, if and when that happens, that's one thing. But right now it's moving more east southeast. If that were to hold, it would the quote worst of things would be just north of Dallas and Tarrant County. But I don't know that would be the case. Hey Kelly, yeah, boy, I was watching that storm north of Abilene. Glad you're okay. Glad it's not on top of you. Is Heather, is Cattle Mills in the path? It is. And let's switch to the other. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. That's what I'm here for. Cattle Mills is right there. So you are, this is a velocity. So put that in motion. So you're definitely in the path. You're probably, what is it, 9, almost 10 o'clock. You're probably closer to 11 for you. And it's really no different than anybody else in the sense that, it's, going to have very gusty winds. Hopefully nothing too horrible, but definitely prepare for a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. That's for sure. All right. So just batten down the hatches, as they say. Andrew heard there's down trees down, there's down tornado by bottom. Yeah, I think they just reissued the tornado warning for that. Richardson activated their sirens. So Little Elm, not surprising. Again, haven't seen anything reported yet, but again, those are delayed typically. So let's take this off here. Oh, nope, don't want that. There we go. All right, let's put this in motion. So again, these are warned for, it's radar indicated right now, 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And that whole line is not 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts. It's in pockets. And I don't know if, let's see if this velocity is any better. Yeah, not a ton. Let's see though. Yeah, doesn't mean they're not in there. It's just that I don't see anything crazy, but again, it's not always totally accurate because it's a radar estimation, and plus it's a law. Like I said, when the radar beam is like 6,000-7,000 feet above the ground at that location from the site in Fort Worth, that's what can affect that. But and I don't have all the radar layers that the National Weather Service does, so I'm sure they are on top of it. Put that back to velocity. All right. Respond to this. All right, there we go. Okay. Hey, Joe. What are the wind speeds coming in for the general area? Great question. So let's go back to this. A couple of features of note here. Outflow boundary here. Denton right there. Some strong winds here. Everything kind of going like this. So the other thing I would say is that not everywhere within, let me go back to reflectivity. Not everywhere within this line is going to see the worst of the worst. Hey, Misty, 3 a.m. maybe on the late side, but it's hard to say, but it's definitely, I would say this, probably 1 a.m. to 2 a.m., maybe 1 to 3 a.m. is probably better. It's just, yeah, you're right. It is starting to pick up speed, that's for sure. Just be prepared for it. Hey, random winds why they're going to get hit. What time is it now? 10 o'clock? I would say 10:30-ish at this present rate, maybe a tad before, which would include Saxby, Murphy, Wiley, all those guys. Yeah, so it's moving at a pretty good clip. Hey, Kyle, can you tell me how it's going to be in Bonham? Yeah, Bonham's, I think they're still under that tornado warning. Let me stop this. Yeah. Radar indicated tornado warning. I know it's a little messy, but Bonham being right there. If we put so if you know anybody there, I think your mom's there if I remember. Definitely tell her to take shelter. That's for sure. Oh yeah. So this is zoom out on this, and for those of you just joining us, this is the Bonham area, not Dallas Fort Worth. Definitely got a tighter couplet there. Like it's north of town. I don't know where your mom or relatives live, but let's put this in motion. Yeah, so it's, as you can tell, it's headed, maybe it just go just north of 82 and 121. Well, it's gonna be tight. So if you live anywhere within that polygon, Honey Grove at the other end, Ector's fine, Bonham's, especially north of 82, definitely be taking shelter for sure. Hopefully that helps you there. Off Highway 82. Okay. Yeah. So if she's off Highway 82, then definitely want to take shelter. That's for sure. Don't know if it's on the ground, but doesn't really matter. Definitely take shelter. Any idea if Heather? Any idea if Lone Oak will get hit? Family living in a mobile home. Yeah. I would not have them in the mobile home. I would tell them to go to they still have time. Lone Oak. Put this back on reflectivity. Zoom out here. So I'll give you an idea. Let me zoom in here. So Lone Oak being right here. I don't have a whole lot of time, maybe 30, 45 minutes. I do not want to take a chance on them having 70-mile-hour winds. County Road 525 is her road. Okay, I don't know if I can get that. Don't know if they'll do. I probably won't do county roads. No, just state highways or farm market roads. Yeah, if there's someplace they can go, I would definitely like a sturdy shelter, even if it's just temporary. Even if they go to a convenience store in town, something that's open 24/7. Definitely do that over an RV and a mobile home in this kind of situation. Don't want to be in one of those. So if they can do that, I would highly recommend that. Hope they stay safe, Heather. Yeah. So, yes. So it's a crazy night, that's for sure. Now, again, here's something that's interesting, and especially if you live on the western side of town. Put my. Oh, you're welcome, Heather. Yeah, if I can pick the right menu. Nope, that's not it. So you're noticing here that's not a whole lot going on. Decatur, west of Denton, y'all may dodge the bullet as far as severe winds. Over here, now again, that whole area is not seeing the worst of the worst. But if you're in that anywhere within that higher reflectivity, then you're going to have a chance. So you're going to see gusty winds no matter what. That's a given. Now, hopefully it's more of the 40, 50 mile an hour variety than the 70, 80 mile per hour variety. Okay, I'm just looking for spotter reports. 63 at TWU at one of their dorms. Not surprised. 56 at Little Elm and at FM 423 in El Dorado Parkway. tornado circulation near the Bonham Airport. So Kyle, I don't know where your mom lives in relation to the airport, but she should be in shelter regardless. Okay, so just got a report 65 mile an hour wind gust at I-35E and FM 407. So I can see why they've warned it for that. All right, so let's take this off. Put this in motion. When would it hit Garland? So Garland's not too far behind everybody else, I would say. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let's do this. Oh, probably 10:45-ish, give or take. All right, so let's put this in motion here. Now, again, I would say that not everybody is going to see 70, 80 mile an hour wind gusts. Some will, some have. Now, the latest wind gust we've seen is 65. I know up in the Collinsville area in Grayson County, they had some. I think they had a little bit more of a little bit higher wind. I didn't see the exact winds. Tornado warning for Grayson County will be allowed to expire. That's good. Okay, circulation remains strong near bottom though, so still just watch that closely. All right, so as you can see, it is upon us. I would not be surprised if they do issue severe thunderstorm warning for Tarrant and Dallas County here shortly. Haven't done that yet. Looking that way, they've stopped this motion. Hey, Robert, how's Leonard looking? In-laws are there. Leonard's not looking great, although it's not a whole lot different than anybody else. Leonard being right here. So they're just downstream of this tornado warning that's about to expire. So definitely have them take the weather seriously there. Let's go to the velocity. So the gusty winds, the leading edge, I guess you could say. So here's McKinney, for example, Blue Ridge, Frisco, the Colony, Louisville, Trophy Club. Again, the radar is always a little bit behind. So, you're welcome, Kyle. It is about to get windy if it hasn't got windy there already. Now, again, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. There's a few reports of 65. Haven't seen 70 yet. Not that we won't, but again, not everybody's going to see that. And hopefully where you are, you won't. Hey, Debbie, just got a warning on the phone and the sirens are going off in Richardson close by. Yes, they are. So as I mentioned earlier, the severe thunderstorm warning, if you live in Collin County and your WEA alerts are set on your phone, which is if they're not, they should be. Yes, your phone's going to go off for a tornado warning. That's not what this is. It's going to go off for a severe thunderstorm warning if it's 80 mile an hour winds or greater. So that's why your phone went off. And, or I say your phone went off, you got the warning. I assume that's what you meant. And, that's the way they're designed to do. If you don't have them, I would encourage you to turn them on. You're not going to get them very often, but when you do, you're going to want to know. Hey, Regina, is farmers still going to get hit? Yes, they are. And again, and not to say they're going to get hit worse than anybody else. But they're just in line with everybody else. Let me stop this. So just to, Farmersville being right there. It's the same thing. You just want to be prepared for 60 mile an hour wind gust. Doesn't mean it's going to happen there, but just be prepared for that. And going back to Heather's question, she has a family that lives in a mobile home and RV. If you know anybody that is either in an RV or lives in a mobile home, anywhere really in North Texas, but especially if you live from Denton, Fort Worth east, it's you don't want to be there. Now, chances are you might be fine, but I just wouldn't want to take that chance. So if you know someone that lives in a mobile home, and especially if the storms aren't at their location yet, call them, text them. I know it's getting late. I know it's 10:10 on a Sunday night. But that's, it's way better to wake them up and say, hey, just go to a convenience store, or go to, somewhere to where something's open, and they could be in a sturdy building until it passes. And you know what? If they come home and everything's fine, great. However, if for some reason they stayed and everything wasn't fine, then that's not a situation you wouldn't want to be in. Hey, Abra, here we go, getting quite rumbly. Heard sirens in the distance, yes. So where you live, yes, you probably heard Richardson and Planos. So yeah, that kind of night. But again, it's not. The good news is it's not going to last very long. It's just that we got to just get through the initial brunt of it. 65 mile an hour wind gust. Where was that? Oh, they got that before. I-35E and 407 northwest of Louisville. So if you're in those areas, I'm sure you're already feeling it. That's for sure. Let's see. All right. So I would, let's go back to velocity here. Answer this text. Okay, let's put this in motion. Get my cursor to work. Hey, Regina, have family there in Prosper. They're in the middle of it right now, so hopefully they're doing okay. I would be curious to see if you can get a report from them on how bad it is or was from them. Be curious about that. Okay, don't see anything new. But again, if you're just tuning in, this is the velocity radar signature. And as you can see, some fairly strong winds approaching the northern parts of the Metroplex. Some are already in the northern parts of the Metroplex. Stop this. And if for some reason I suddenly go off the air, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I lost power. Hopefully that won't be the case, but just if it does, that's probably what happened. And that would be very unfortunate. Hopefully we won't see a lot of that. I know we probably will in some areas, but hopefully it won't be anything widespread. Hello, Karen. Hearing your rumblings of nature's photo shoot. Yes, it is upon us, that's for sure. I'd be glad if thunder and lightning were the only thing we had to deal with. Although lightning's not good either because that can catch houses on fire. So don't want that anymore. We want anything else. All right, so let's go back to reflectivity. All right. Let's do this. All right. So let's put this in motion. It's moving at a pretty good clip, so it's approaching 10:15. So I would imagine that the Weather Service is going to put out a severe thunderstorm warning certainly for parts of Dallas County, maybe eastern Tarrant. But as you can see from this motion, it's southeast in nature. I think it looks like right now the brunt of things is a little more southeast or east southeast, but it won't take long, that's for sure. All right. Yeah. Okay. So they're about to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Tarrant, Dallas County, Rockwell County, Kaufman County, Hunt County, Not surprising. 65 mile an hour winds with this line of storms. Okay, so that doesn't sound great, but that's down from 80 that we were seeing earlier. Now, it doesn't mean it won't ramp up to that again, but right now, it's not like, I mean, 65 is nothing to sneeze at, don't get me wrong, but I'll take that over getting warned for 80. All right, so we'll get that in just a second. Hey, Garland, what are the hail size right now? I haven't seen a lot of hail reports. I would say that there's a warning for the counties I just mentioned. I haven't seen a lot of hail reports. There is some hail out there. I think the biggest ones I've seen with this line, there's nickel, which in and of itself is not horrible. But if it is a wind-driven nickel-sized hail, then that's that's no good. But I haven't seen a lot of hail reports. And as I said earlier, I don't see this being a big hail producer. Definitely a wind producer. Yeah, my house is so songy right now. It is. Oh, yes, the sound of weather alerts, that's for sure. All right, so while we have just a quick moment, let's go to our slides here. I know I went through some of these already, but we'll start this over. Okay, that's our severe thunderstorm watch. That's actually an old one, so I didn't update it with the new one, but we have it until 4 a.m. We're not going to deal with this till 4 a.m., but that's when the severe thunderstorm watch is. So this is kind of happening right now. This corridor on the lower right of the graphic, the most intense winds, which we've sort of seen. We haven't seen it. We've seen a lot of reports, but we haven't seen widespread reports of that. Timing, that's kind of mute now because it's already here. So this, I just want to talk about this real quick. So I think, sorry, I was reading my chat over here. So this difference between straight line winds versus a tornado, I know this graphic is a little complicated, but long story short, you see the straight line winds and it kind of comes out like, it spreads out like this, to where a tornado is kind of a more isolated areas. That's kind of the gist of it. But it can be just as damaging as a tornado, that's for sure. And like I said earlier, if you don't have your WEA alert set on your phone, I know some people turn them on because they think they might get annoying, but you're only going to see them. Oh, thanks, Mr. Tucker. Yeah, you tell Pete Bell because you told him that. If you don't have these set, like I said, I know they may seem annoying, but they're not really that annoying because they don't really go off that much. They're going to go off for a tornado warning, which you're definitely going to want to know. Flash flood, high-end flash flood warnings, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, 80 mile an hour wind gusts, and baseball size hail. So, but if you don't have them turned on, you're not going to know. And this is most important at night, because even if you have it on sleep, it's still going to go off. And believe me, if that phone is going to go off at that kind of alert, then you're going to want to be woken up. So, just a little education on that. And then real quick, more scattered storms south of us, and then we got more storm chances the rest of the week, and that's for another day. The thing you can say is summer's not here yet. That's good. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. All right, so it is almost upon us, and so I'm sure most of us have heard rumblings of thunder. And let's go to velocity real quick, because what I am going to do is I am going to hop off here in a minute and make sure that everything's cool at my place. But just want to make sure that things are kosher here, as much as they can be. All right. Okay. All right. So again, here's the velocity signature, and again, this is kind of what we can expect. And get my cursor here. Yeah, I'm going to do that all night, apparently. All right, so here's the gusty wind line. Here's some stronger winds here. I don't know if this is really strong out this way. The storms aren't near as intense. So you push it down this way. And again, this is a little behind. So I would say, let's see. Yeah, so you're going to see some 50, 60 mile an hour wind gusts here. And I think, you're going to see this area, not everything within that area, but you're going to see some gusty winds maybe approaching 60 miles an hour. Hopefully that's on the high end. You're welcome, maybe. I was glad to keep you updated. All right, so let's go back to the radar one more time. All right, so I am going to sign off just to make sure everything is cool. The bottom line is this: like I said, there's nothing to panic about. But just like I said, I would not hang out around windows or anything like that, and certainly don't hang out outside. Not that you would. And then, like I said, this won't last terribly long in the big scheme of things. And then hopefully, like I said, just get through this brunt, and it'll be kind of noisy and stormy for a little while afterwards, but hopefully not a lot. And then if I need to, I'll come back on. If not, then it's okay too. But like I said, that's the latest. Like I said, just we've all taken the day, hopefully, to prepare, and we'll all be good no matter what. So, and I'll keep everybody updated the best I can. You're welcome, Lisa. Thanks for watching on YouTube. You're welcome, Kyle. Thank you, Trey, for watching on YouTube. Appreciate that. And as always, I'm watching the weather, especially tonight, so you don't have to. Although I want you to watch it tonight. And then, stay safe. Garbage Trucks of Garland, Texas on YouTube. Mr. Bickerstaff, I'm in the Saxy band, and I know Nathan. Okay. I was wondering who you were. Okay. Anyway, so it's going to be fine, everybody. Just stay safe. It doesn't look like anything's going too crazy. But like I said, we'll get through it, and we'll go from there. If I need to update you, I will. Okay, let me do that one more time since I got distracted by Garbage Trucks of Garland in the YouTube chat. As always, I'm watching weather so you don't have to. Stay safe, everyone. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.